Yeah, we're live. I'm calling her.
Hello.
Hi, Mama.
Hello.
Greetings. Oh, I'm sleep deprived.
I can't hear you very well yet.
You can't hear me.
Well, I know you'll pick it up.
I'm stretching. Did you hear that? I was stretching.
No, but I see your right elbow.
Oh, you saw that? Wait, can you see me? Am I on screen?
Just half of you. Parts of you.
Really?
Not all of you. My picture takes up your entire face. So if you move to your right, I'll see you.
Like that?
If you move to your right, I'll see more of you.
Right or left? Do you see me now?
To your right.
Over here?
No, the other way.
Very interesting. You guys are seeing something.
There you go. Hello. I don't know how your camera is situated, but
Because what I see is I fully take up half the screen and you are on the.
no, I don't see anything except your bookshelf and a door or a window or something over there.
Interesting.
You didn't know that?
Well, when I look at the screen, I'm fully on half of the screen and you're on the other half of the screen.
No, that's not what I see. I take up half of the screen and the other half is your bookcase.
So not like this?
Still the same. There. See, now you're there.
This is bizarre.
Now I see you.
So all this time, let's see. Let me see if I can go back and look at an old episode. Oops. Let's see if I can do that.
It's kind of been that way the whole time, but I
So
mean, it didn't bother me if it didn't bother you. But
no, what I see is very different. Here, let me show you what I see.
Oh, that's weird.
Let's see if I can figure out how to take a picture with this other phone. Interesting. All right.
I don't know what other people are seeing.
All right. Let me show you what I see. I'm taking a picture.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just saying you need to move to your right.
yeah, but I'm taking a picture of what I see right now, and I'm going to show it to you.
Okay.
All right. So this is what I see right now. Can you guys see that? Here, let me take you off.
No, we don't. I don't see that. That's not what I see. Ever.
Interesting. So this is what I see.
Well, why don't I see that?
Well, I thought everybody saw that because that's what I'm looking at on the camera this whole time. Interesting.
Oh, well, why aren't we seeing that?
This is the first time I'm learning that you're not seeing what I'm seeing. So, hello everyone, welcome to
Mike, you can take my picture down. It doesn't need to be there.
Hold on, I'm going to check to see what it looks like the final recording. Let's see, YouTube.
See, Lucas is saying the same thing. Every episode has been your bookcase.
Interesting. So, where is last week? Mm-hmm. All right, last week, Miracle Mom, Miracle Mom, Miracle Mom. Oh, interesting. Fascinating that I'm not seeing what you guys are seeing. So, all this time. Can you see me now?
I can see it. I can see. Yeah, now I can see you. like that.
I just, because I opened up the recording and it's just, yeah, interesting. It's showing. So you're hearing me talk and just seeing your face. Every episode has been like this.
Every episode, we've all been very kind. Maybe not to mention it because you wanted it.
No, it's not kind. You guys are bad producers.
Oh,
fascinating.
You can take my picture down. They don't need my picture up there, right?
The show's called Miracle Mom. They're going to think me with long hair, I'm mom? No. Well,
but that's good the way you have it right now.
All of this, yes. 2 weeks ago, or couple weeks ago, I think it was Kathy actually was the first one to really point this out. She was like, I don't see you. I'm like, oh, maybe refresh, or maybe you're
whatever you just did, it fixed it. So
yeah, not for me. You know what I see? I see your face, and then I see my Gavlak poster on the other side.
Okay.
Do you see the Gavlak poster?
Where is it?
See, you don't see it. It's right over this shoulder. It's right here. All right. Well, I guess I don't get to look at my beautiful face. Enough of the. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Technical Difficulties with Miracle Mom and Michael. Well, thank you, producer Miracle Mom, for this has all been a dress rehearsal. All this time has been a tech rehearsal. Now we're ready.
Let the show go on.
All right. Enough of this. I'm ready. Mom, I'm going to hand it off to you. Tell me this story. Have I heard this one before?
I'm not sure if I did this story on Mindful Masa or not. I can't remember, but
all right.
I debated quite a while. Do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? I don't know, something, whatever nudged me and said, yeah, go ahead. It's a memory. It happened to you. Whether there's any benefit for sharing it, who knows? But it's my personal experience. And it happened in 1952 when I was 8 years old.
Mm.
Okay, there's this day, and the first day of May, we call it May Day, and I guess that's nationwide. I don't know if it's a major holiday or what, but there's always been May Day when I was growing up.
Hmm.
And it kind of signifies the first day of spring and a few other things.
I think it's been replaced with Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
And then
so anyway,
that has in my vernacular, Cinco de Mayo, 5th of May, has been replaced by May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Oh, of course.
So,
of course.
But I have heard of May Day, so May 1st.
Okay. May Day is not as significant as July 4th or something like that. Mm-hmm. But in any case, I was 8 years old. Now, when I was a little girl at that age, May Day meant something. You know, we would, as kids, we would kind of do something nice for mom and dad on that day, or maybe a neighbor, and the day came. On that day in 1952, I decided to do something for my neighbor.
Uh-oh.
And the neighbor was my mother's best friend. We've already had that show where
Linda.
She named her daughter Linda. Mm-hmm. That was my mother's best friend across the street, right? Mm-hmm. So
good intentions. I can see it coming.
Yeah, just a child with good intentions, right?
Oh dear.
Well, here it comes. Down the street, a few houses down, there was a huge empty lot, and it was just, wild grass and wild flowers, and it was really a nice place where we used to go play on that lot as kids. It was safe, but there were no buildings on it or anything, just a wild place to go and play and have our fun. Well, on May Day, I decided I'm going to go down there to that lot, and I'm going to pick a big bouquet of wildflowers, and I'm going to take it over to my mom's best friend to surprise her on May Day. So I went down, and I had a big old handful of wild flowers, and I took a rubber band with me, to wrap around the stems to hold it together like a bouquet. And I'm only 8 years old, so in my child's mind, I went over to their house, and they didn't have a porch at all. It was just the front part of the house, and the front door was there with some bricks, 3 or 4 brick steps and a little landing at the front door. So I went over, and I went to the front door, and I'm only 8. Remember, I'm only 8, so I didn't think this through.
I think that's a important part of this story, yes.
You what?
That must be an important part of this story.
Yes, it is. What I did was I laid the bouquet down. They had a welcome mat right there. So I laid the bouquet down, and I wanted to surprise them. So I laid it down, and I rang the doorbell 3 or 4 times, and then I ran around the side of the house because I wanted to hide so I could peek when my mom's best friend opened the door. I wanted to see her smile and wonder, oh, where did this beautiful bouquet come from? All right, well, that's what I did. So I'm standing by the side of the door. I heard the door open, and I just barely poked my head to see who was there. And as I did that, it was my mom's best friend's husband. His name is Ed. He came down those steps. He came around the side of the house where I was, and he slapped me in the face. And his face was as red as a beet. And he started screaming at me. What the blank do you think you're doing? You woke up the new baby, so just get out of here.
Ding dong ditch. That's what it's called. You ding dong ditched.
Ding dong ditched.
I think that's what they call it. The kids these days, right? They ring a doorbell and they run off.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, and I mean, I ran as fast as my little legs could carry me, and I was crying. I was terrified. I ran home, and it was, early in the day, and I ran in the house, and of course, Mom was there. I think Dad was at work. And boy, Ed is glad that Dad was at work, let me tell you. So I ran in the house, and, Mom saw me coming, and I'm crying and sobbing and can hardly talk, and she's listening, and she's crying, and we're just a crying mess. And, after that, she calmed me down. There was a red mark on my face. There was a red mark on my face. Wow. It slapped me. And, she did what a mom's going to do to comfort me and calm me down. And I guess I sort of went about, my business for the day. I can't remember all of what happened right away after that. However, the day went by. Dad came home from work, and Mom gave him the story, and I did not hear their conversation. I did not know what the adults were involved in terms of dealing with this. My only next memory, which is almost confusing to me, because I was only 8, all of a sudden, it had to have been decided between the adults. Obviously, my mom and dad went over there and had a conversation. Not on the phone. No, they walked across the street face to face. had a conversation. And the thing that happened next was I had been invited over to their house to have dinner with their family. Now here's what's troublesome. As I'm talking about it, I can still see myself sitting at their dinner table, terrified of this man and wondering why I'm there. Why am I there? And after all these years, Mike, I don't recall any conversations with my parents. The only thing I can put together in my adult mind now is that must have been the way this was supposed to be, an apology or something. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't even eat.
Giving him an
Linda was at the table. Their daughter, Linda, she was there. And of course, my mom's best friend and her husband, they had just had a new baby. And the baby was, I don't know, a month old, or Chris, her brother Chris had just been born. So that's the baby he was talking about when he was so angry. So here I am, this is my story. I'm sitting there not knowing why I'm there. But I went through it, got through it, went back home, end of story. As I'm sharing this today, now I'm 81. This is 73 years later, and I'm realizing Dansville was a small town. Yes, it was.
Still is.
Today, if that man had done that, he'd be in prison.
Right.
That's where he'd be.
Right.
Or doing some kind of jail time. But it's even after 73 years, it's the fear and the terror just comes rushing back. So it's something I've never, I don't share it with people and don't talk about it a lot, but I'm not sure where this is taking me, except I had the thought this morning before we came on. Now here we are, I'm 81 years old, living in a nation that has passed an evil law that it's okay to murder a baby in the womb. And I'm sorry about politics, but I don't buy it.
Politics?
Look at what we're doing. Abortion, look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is where we've evolved. Anyway, I don't want to make that part of the program today. It's just, boy, I look back and I think, wow, that guy, he'd be facing a judge in a court somewhere. But I guess I brought it just to kind of highlight how horrible things are happening to children. We know about it, we read about it, we see it, it's all over the place. And I think, gosh, could that have been me in 1952? I don't know. And I'll just say it, God spared me for whatever this guy was so angry about. But anyway, that was my Mayday.
Mayday. Well, I do remember this story. I remember you talking about this.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if I shared it or not.
Well, I don't know if it's on Mindful Masa or if you just told me at some point.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
But, a couple of things come to mind because it's, you even mentioned it. It was like, it was a different time back then, right? It was a different time, how things have changed. And a lot of times we say that in the sense of, good times, the good old days, right? It was the good old days, and that those times are gone forever. And I have a bit of a pushback on that notion, not on you, but on that idea that things will never, can never be returned to the good old days. The good old days had their problems as well. And in your story, there's, one of the good things about the good old days is an 8-year-old girl can go wandering around her neighborhood freely without any fear of abduction.
Right, down on that big field at the end of our street. We had lots of fun.
It's just you, right? All on your own, deciding to do
right.
a good deed. And that is the heart of the story, the heartbreaking heart of the story is you wanting to do good, right? You have this childlike innocence and a sincere desire to be a blessing to someone, someone who just had a child, right? I'm going to give a bouquet of flowers. And compounding that goodness, you're wanting not just to bless, but surprise, right? You want to bless with a surprise, right? It's a compounding of the blessing. You want to see the excitement and evenness and even anonymity, right? It's a selflessness. You didn't want to be standing there handing and getting the credit. You were like, she doesn't need to know who it is. And maybe you would jump out if it was her, right? This is all the purity. Christ calls us to be like little children. And those are the qualities that we're demonstrating, right? And then the shock of the world, right? Your good intentions bringing upon you horror, a lasting horror, as you said. At 81 years old, you still feel that it's a visceral reaction, and it's
I shake when I'm telling you.
Well, it's a wake up call, right? At 8 years old, like there's a cinematic or a kind of a storytelling term, and I forget what it is. When the innocence of childhood is lost, right? That's what happened, right? And it was like you've never seen that, and thank God it was only a slap to the face, as you were saying. It could have been something far worse, and far worse does happen to children 8 years old and younger, right? And so, by the grace of God, you only experienced that. But in this story, it's it's my sleep deprivation. I'm forgetting the words. It's a moral. Anyway, I'm not going to waste the rest of the time just trying to think of this word. But
well, Mike, let me just add. While I'm sharing this, the truth is, in all of the years that I grew up in my own home with my parents, there was never one single ever physical abuse to any of all 5 of us kids. Ever, ever, ever. Never. It's the only traumatic childhood trauma I ever experienced. My parents were loving people. They didn't need to physically correct us. We grew up where all you needed was a look on their face. That's all you needed. If you'd done something wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No belts, no punishment. But boy, you better tell us the truth here. So, I thank my parents for growing up in a loving home like that. Amen. Absolutely.
Another thing I want to point out about a different time. Again, it was a small town, and so we live in a different time where we have instant access to all kinds of stories, and so that man today would not have been so ready. So there's the good old days of 8-year-old can go wandering around picking flowers without fear of abduction. But the good old days also have, this is the bad. The guy was he was uninhibited. He was enraged and felt like there would be no consequence, right? And maybe he was sleep deprived as well and was out of his mind. And that that story of you sitting at that table, clearly your parents were, bringing reconciliation or confronting the guy and torturing you in the process, not unwittingly or thinking you needed to be there for this reconciliation. It reminds me of Larry, my stepfather. when I was being bullied in 7th grade. And the bully lived down the street, and he took me to the bully's house to confront the bully's mom. Or I'm like, wait, this is this is torturing me. And the bully and his older brother, and it was like a single mother, and I don't think she spoke much English. And it was like, oh, this was good intentions by your parents and by Larry, but I just remember this suffering by having to be in the presence of that bully, and you having to. So,
I even wondered. I still have so many questions about that moment, and I wished I would have brought it up to my mom, but I never brought it up to her. I wondered if maybe they called the cop, the local cop, and had a discussion with him about anything. Anyway, I don't know. So there were no cops.
My final observation, or my final thought on this is, I remember that town, and I remember it the way you remember it, because you're saying it was 1952, 53. I remember it in 1978, 77, 78, 79, when I lived there. And I remember it being, I was allowed to wander freely all over town, as was Michelle. Right. And so in those 25 years between when you had that experience and I had my experience, that's still the same. That sense did not change, even though the world was changing, that sense. And today, I don't know, I'm sure there's still some small town feeling, but they probably lock their doors, right? Because when you have instant access to the World Wide Web and you see the horrors and drugs and things coming in, so it's changed in that regard. But I know of a town that's gone in the other direction. Well, not that it was ever dangerous, but when Christianity spreads, it can have the reverse effect on a community. And there's a town, there's a town in Moscow, Idaho, where my pastor friend Doug Wilson's ministry is at. And whenever I go there, when I drive into town, the middle of town, and get out of my car, I have that feeling again. And, awesome. and it's like, oh my gosh, it's not something that's lost and gone forever. It's actually a part of Reformation. Doug recently did a video on the 3 R's: renewal, revival, and reformation. And we're at the cusp of a revival reformation. It's not enough to just have a revival, but to have our culture reformed and repentance, right? As you were mentioning, and I'm glad you mentioned it, abortion, that the most innocent humans that require the most protection are actually the most exposed. And that is our evil as Americans. And that, from the federal level, has been reversed, and it's working its way through the courts in each state. There are states that are making it against the law, and that will spread, and that will return each little burg, each little village, each little ville, like Dansville, back to that innocent, wholesome neighborhood where you can leave your doors unlocked and an 8-year-old girl can go to a field and pick flowers and wander around. That's what I think that's actually going to spread. But that's me, the optimist. I think that's actually what God intends as well. And our time is wrapping up, Mom. You have any final words for today's episode? Because I need to take a nap. I'm going to take a nap.
Just that I love the EM family, and it's always so comforting to spend this time with everyone, and I wish everybody could come and share their memories.
Well, if things
but you have a safe trip today.
Thank you. It should be a couple-hour drive.
Traveling mercies.
A couple-hour drive. I want to finally acknowledge Kathy Hart, a newcomer to us here. I'm glad she's here. Kathy mentions that her husband wants them to move to Moscow, Idaho. Kathy, do it.
Oh, wow.
Do it. Do it, do it, do it. I want to move there. I want to have a second home there. I gotta have a first home somewhere, but but it's incredible what's happened in that town, and I think it's the center of the universe for what God wants to do in all of the world. All right, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Miracle Mom. Love you, Mom.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And